In 1800, trade covered a wide range of goods, from agricultural products to luxury goods, depending on the region, social class, and economic structure. Very different goods were traded. Let's look at the main categories. 1. Agricultural goods. In the early 19th century, agriculture remained the backbone of most economies. The goods sold were cereals, wheat, rye, oats. Barley were the mainstay of nutrition in Europe and America. Potatoes gaining popularity in Europe after their spread in the 18th century. Corn and rice widely used in the Americas, Asia, and Africa. Vegetables and fruits sold in markets, with exotic fruits like pineapples and citrus fruits being expensive. Sugar, one of the most profitable commodities, produced on plantations in the Caribbean and Brazil. 2. Industrial goods and handicrafts. The early 19th century was the time of the first steps of the Industrial Revolution. The markets sold textiles, cotton, linen, woolen fabrics, produced both by hand and in the first factories. Leather goods, shoes, belts, saddles, weapons, muskets, pistols, sabers, glassware, and pottery, depending on the level of craftsmanship, ranged from simple clay pots to exquisite porcelain. 3. Colonial goods and luxury goods. Tea, coffee, cocoa, expensive goods imported from Asia, Africa, and Latin America. Spices, cinnamon, cloves, nutmeg, pepper, all imported from the colonies and sold for a lot of money. Tobacco, grown in America and sold all over the world. Silk and brocade, imported from China and India. Alcohol, rum from the Caribbean. Brandy, wine, especially French wine, beer. 4. Slave trade. Unfortunately, 1800 was still a period of active slave trade. Although Britain would ban the slave trade in 1807, Africans were still being sold in the colonies of the Americas. In 1800, especially in Brazil, the Caribbean, and the United States. 5. Transportation and animals. Horses, donkeys, mules, sold as transportation and for agriculture. Wagons and carriages ranged from simple carts to luxurious carriages. Ships, especially in coastal areas where trade depended on sea transportation. 6. Scientific and educational goods. Books, the works of philosophers, scientists, and writers were sold in Europe and the United States, including works by Rousseau, Kant, and Adam Smith. Globes and maps, especially sought after by travelers and merchants. Watches and movements, the production of mechanical watches was actively developed. Conclusion. In 1800, the world was on the verge of change. Industrialization had begun and traditional trade was facing new challenges. However, the goods traded at this time still formed the basis of the economy. Many of them remain in demand today.